Ukraine has invaded Russia. An attack that nobody would thought would happen, because what everyone thought this war was about was Ukraine defending its own territory against remorseless Russian attacks. Ukraine launched this surprise attack from a very quiet region, Sumy, in the northeast of Ukraine, over the border into Russia's Kursk Oblast, a very lightly defended part of the Russian border. One of the first videos we saw was an awful lot of Russian troops, a few dozen, surrendering at the border post because they had been overwhelmed and surprised. We saw Ukrainian troops suddenly inside the Russian border. And although Russia's President Vladimir Putin promised a worthy response, so far Russia's response has certainly not peg back the Ukrainians in any way. If anything, Ukraine is seeking more ways to expand, bombing some bridges across the same river, creating a pocket in an area to the west of where it's sort of already broken through, cutting off all the connections and supply from Russia, and thereby allowing it perhaps to sort of surround the relatively small number of troops that we present, and once again sort of take another slug of land and add to its expanding slice of Russia.
Ukraine's recent military advances into Russian territory, specifically the Kursk region, mark a significant shift in the dynamics of the ongoing conflict. For over a year, the war has been largely characterized by a stalemate, with neither side gaining substantial ground. However, Ukraine's ability to penetrate 35 kilometers into Russian territory and force the evacuation of 200,000 people from the area has caught Russia by surprise. Historically, Russian empires have often faced internal collapse following military defeats or prolonged conflicts. While it's premature to declare the start of Russia's collapse, the situation does raise questions about the stability of Putin's government. The success of Ukraine's operation can be attributed to several factors, including effective planning, the element of surprise, and the use of cyber attacks to disrupt Russian communications. The broader implications of this incursion suggest that Ukraine may be aiming to force Russia into negotiations by demonstrating its ability to strike within Russian borders. This move could also be intended to divert Russian military resources from other critical areas, like the Donbass region, where Russia has been making advances. Additionally, this incursion challenges the Russian narrative that the war is contained within Ukraine, potentially undermining domestic support for the conflict. The situation remains fluid, and while this operation doesn't yet signal the collapse of Russia, it does highlight vulnerabilities that could have far-reaching consequences for the country's leadership and its position in the war.